Right now, I have now Al Magid. Al comes on frequently to talk about his Reading is Fun program. And as I said, I'm losing my voice, so we're going to have Al start talking about Reading is Fun.
We're a program that's several years old now. I founded it 3 years ago. We began to rev up about 2 years ago. We're very active, very successful, but could never be too successful given the problems that confront Schenectady and its youngsters. We teach.
Well, what are those problems?
Okay. Insufficiency on the reading front in every sense. Partly, it's sometimes exaggerated, but partly as a consequence of their own backgrounds. Many of these children grow up in family and social environments.
They don't have books or newspapers.
That's right, where reading is not very highly valued, and therefore, unlike you and me and others in America who were taught to read beginning at age 4, sometimes even earlier. By the time
I learned very early. I could read when I went into
kindergarten, likewise. And reading well. We don't have that now. So we are a reading program, I should say an early education program. We focus on 4 to 9-year-olds, pre-K through grade 3. The national data are compelling and very disturbing that children who do not get on the reading track by 3rd grade are not likely ever to get on the reading track.
They can't catch up.
No, they can't. Now, there are exceptions, but typically they don't.
But I think they get discouraged because they feel as though they're not good enough, and then they don't even try.
Absolutely. They fall through a crack, and frankly, in our society, the crack is like Grand Canyon. It's ever widening. So we teach, we have volunteers who work on teaching letters, letter sounds, letter combinations, words, vocabulary, and conversation. We have presently, in the area of 80 volunteers, working with nigh on now about 90 children, and we can never have too many. So I'm here, one, to appeal to anybody, any adult or teenager. We have high school teenagers from Schenectady High and Niskayuna working with us as well. We do a 1-hour intensive training session, and it's good. We have people of diverse background. It's minimal investment, 1 day a week, flexible hours, 30 to 60 minutes. If you want more than one kid to work with, if you want to work longer, that's fine, but that's the minimum.
So you're flexible with your volunteers?
Absolutely, and we're ever growing. We raise volunteers, and people ask me, how many do you want? And I'll say 2,000.
You'll take as many as you can?
Say 2,000? Oh, not enough? 5,000.
Yeah.
Not enough. We can never have too many volunteers.
Do you have service groups that support you?
We do, partly by contributing to advertising in our annual fundraising booklet, which leads me to announce that we're having our 2nd annual, and we'll have it annually forever, because this problem is likely to persist forever, a fundraising hayride bonfire with a wonderful band, Gray Watkins Band, food, a silent auction, a raffle, a lot of good cheer, September 30, 7 to 9:30 p.m. at the Riverview Orchard in Rexford on Riverview Road.
Be sure to send me that information, and I'll get that information out.
I promise you I will.
I have a question to ask, because it's kind of something that's near and dear to my heart, but I'm not sure what's happening to reading. I learned phonics when so you could sound out words. I'm understanding from some teachers that they just do flashcards. This word is cat, this word is dog. You just recognize it. And what I'm hearing is that when kids learn to read, the words are out of context, so they have a little bit more problem. Can you reflect on that?
Well, I'm 78 years old, which makes me a kind of dodo bird. I learned through phonics, and I've always admired phonics. I know the counter arguments. There are pluses and minuses on both sides. My view is a very pragmatic view, and it's not an ideological view. Whatever works, that's the way you do it. If you can produce good results for 4 to 9-year-olds with sight words, I use a combination of the two.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I tutor a child at Lincoln School, for example, and so we have some marvelous tutors in all walks of life, including jail staff. Sheriff Dom D'Agostino is one of our wonderful tutors.
He's very supportive.
We have members of the police department, retired teachers, active teachers, librarians, etc. We don't impose a regimen. If it works, that's the bottom line test. If that kid is advancing from September through June, we do some summer session teaching as well. And you're doing it this way, I'm not going to say don't do it that way. Do it that way.
So do what works.
Right. But
and everybody learns differently.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's very important too. With many of the children we're working, this is a very important social engagement that they're having. I was out of state for 2 weeks, and I was told by my contact, staff contact at Lincoln, that the little girl I was working with, she didn't go into a clinical depression, but she was very disappointed I wasn't there. When I came last week, she ran and embraced me, Mr. Al, Mr. Al, Mr. Al, okay? So we don't try to be surrogate parents. The parents are the parents, we're not parents.
You're your mentor.
Right, but we understand that these kids have vital, vital needs, not only intellectual, but cognitive, social, emotional, and what have you. And we can help meet that need, help meet that need. We're not there to meet that need per se. Our need, narrowly defined, is getting these kids on the reading track foundationally so that they have the basis for a fuller, richer lifetime of whatever pursuits they want to engage in.
Yeah, it is important. I noticed that the library opened up their brand new branch up on State Street, and they call it a literacy center.
Right, and it's very amply populated thus far. Over several months, they've had a good draw, and I would hope they would continue to have a good draw. Look, you know at least as well as I do, perhaps better, and this is a continuing work in progress, okay? And my view is, and the view of the Reading program is, we'll pursue that work by whatever avenues we have to, need to, are able to achieve our goal of getting the 4 to 9-year-olds pre-K to 3rd grade on board.
Now, you know, lest you wonder, you don't get any tax funding on this. You just...
No, we are a nonprofit technically, but we are under the umbrella of the Schenectady City School District Education Foundation.
What you're doing.
So, you know, we actually partner with them. They are a 501c3, okay? So any money we raise is technically given to them, and they disperse it to us. I don't want the bookkeeping. I don't want the bureaucratic hassle. It's much easier to be affiliated in that way. And so we're pretty tight.
So you have to buy books, maybe? Or
we get a lot of donations. We just made a major purchase from Lifelong Learning in California of teaching tools. We get a lot of donations of books. People want to empty their garages, fire sales, book sale, and, you know, Friends of the Library.
Well, the Friends of the Library are very good because they then allow you to, schools or nonprofits can come in and take books after on a certain date.
We have no dearth. We have no dearth of books. We have no undersupply of kids in need. Our most pressing need is to get members of the community to volunteer. We try to make the burden on them minimal. We appeal to their good sense, their civic consciousness. You see these kids and you melt. They're cute beyond belief, and they're there, most of them, you know, are positioned to be helped. Our intervention is to provide that help. That's what we're about.
They're getting a leg up. It's not just you're helping them read, but you're helping them learn, because then knowing how to read allows them to learn subject matter.
Of course. I mean, reading is, you know, and reading for me has been sheer enjoyment for the last 74 years of my life. It has, I'm a retired UAlbany prof without early on learning and putting me on that trajectory. I don't know what I might have been otherwise. But more than that, in some ways, more fundamentally, it has given me, through reading, a window on the world. Okay, through literature, through the written word, I understand the world richly in ways that I would not if I were not an efficient and proficient reader. That's what we want for these kids. We're not training them to be lawyers. We're not training them to be doctors. If they get these fundamentals, and as they grow and mature through high school, college, and beyond, they will be positioned to make wise choices in their own interests, and I like to think in society's interests, but they're not going to have that capacity, that potential, without the reading foundation. Right. It's quite as simple as that.
And he brought Bookworm with him. I love Bookworm. Got his little book with him.
He's our mascot. He's my friend. Wherever he goes, I go.
You go. And we've been picking up your poster as well on there. So I want to thank you, Al, for being here. You are walking the walk. And what can you say about a person who just goes out there and sees the need?
I love it.
And does it.
And I invite, you see the board, and Greg is posting stuff on filming. I'm open and engaging. I like to think so. So contact me. You have my email address, my phone number, and I'm
contact me, and I will
easily accessible to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to take a little bit more.